Social media has played an important role as the disaster unfolds in Haiti. To speak more about this, we're joined by Sri Srinivasan, a professor at the Columbia University School of Journalism. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Nice to be here.
So talk a little bit about how social media has played a role in the disaster in Haiti.
One of the things that struck me is that whenever there's a major crisis, journalists will do a story saying Twitter has come of age, social media has come of age, and that's not what we're talking about. We understand, and as you do, that this is now part of the story, that any time there's a major crisis, social media is going to play a role, not the dominant role, but a role. And it does it in two ways. One is in the information and misinformation, and fundraising, and those are the two ways in which I think we should look at it. And people are mobilizing in amazing ways to help the situation, you know, whatever they can do. In some cases, they're asking their friends to give money, they're giving money themselves, and that goes right to the heart of what social media is about, that people trust other folks who they know to give them advice and to help. So on my Facebook page, on my Twitter, people were instantly, once they understood the extent of this damage, they were sharing ideas of how they can help, and they were harnessing that energy.
Right, and some of the figures are extraordinary. I mean, this is a little snippet from a Wallet Pop. Sites like Facebook and Twitter have raised 1.2 million. That was in a single day, obviously, over a number of days. There's a figure of 3 million. I mean, and there are plenty of other examples.
And it's
like
going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing. One of the things that we've seen is that the Red Cross had a very nice initiative that you could, via text message, donate money. That wasn't the Red Cross.
Maybe that was somebody donating text.
But what happened? What happened is that you were able to just send a text message and give $10 to the Red Cross directly for Haiti. And what people are doing is they're making that donation and then telling their friends that they have done it. And so then when you see your friend has done that, maybe I'm willing to do that as well. And I'm being encouraged, coaxed, cajoled to do it.
So how has social media then helped in terms of reporting the story, developing the story, bringing up different angles to the story that perhaps we wouldn't find in the traditional media? I mean, that's sort of in two parts. So let's talk about the way in social media has really developed this story.
Sure. One of our students at Columbia J School was there reporting when this happened, and his wife in Haiti, and his wife in New Jersey was completely panicked about how to get a hold of him, and she couldn't. But she learned via Twitter that he was okay, because she was broadcasting via Twitter that she needs to find out, and somebody said, oh, I was with him, he's perfectly okay. And that was the only way for us to communicate with him for a while. We did talk to him on the phone and other things, but Twitter really made a big impact.
Right, and of course this is something that Haitians living in the United States are also doing. I mean, New York has the largest diaspora of Haitians of Haitian descent living here outside of Port-au-Prince. Are you also hearing stories about what locals in the city are doing to get the message out and to get in touch with their relatives?
Absolutely. We're seeing that they are using all kinds of social networks to ask for information. Who have you heard from? Have you heard from my cousin, my grandmother, my uncle who's out there? And they're harnessing that energy. And we saw this, I think, in a really big way for the first time during the tsunami. It wasn't called Facebook or Twitter at that time, but this idea of let's use quick, real-time information to bring together information in one place and share that news. And then we're also looking at issues of things like misinformation. That's what can also happen here, because anybody can start a rumor and spread that on the internet.
And what typically would be some of the examples that have come up there?
So we've seen examples of fake fundraising efforts. So you see a link and you say you're going to help them out. We're also seeing a lot of people kind of jump onto the fundraising bandwagon, and you don't know, is the money you're giving, is that really going to go directly to people who are affected, or is it just a nonprofit trying to get more money for themselves?
Right. And in terms of how this story has been reported, how does it compare to other breaking news stories? For example, the Mumbai terrorist attack in India in 2008.
We saw that was another place where so much information was coming out. The Iran election was another instance where there's so much information that was coming. And the difference, I think, between those particular instances and this one is that now I think a lot more people are aware of what social networking can do, because there was some concrete action you could take. With Iran, with the Mumbai attacks, there wasn't so much you could do. You're sitting in New York, you're feeling kind of helpless. But here, I feel that I can get some measure of control by retweeting the information that I know is reliable, or asking my friends to raise money, or giving money myself. Those are things you can do, which you couldn't do during Iran, during the Mumbai attacks, because you didn't know what you could do. There was this helpless feeling.
Right. What do you think it means then in terms of for the traditional media? I mean, or is that sort of being overplayed now?
No, I think this also shows, by the way, the power of the traditional media, that you still need television shows like this one and the 24-hour networks to be out there covering stories, because social media can only amplify and highlight what's already being done, either by people on the ground who are non-journalists or by journalists themselves. And it's been wonderful to see a lot of our colleagues get on planes and go in. While everybody's trying to get out, we're trying to get in. And in fact, it happened with one of my other students who's a part-time student. While we're trying to extract this guy, there's another person going in with a TV crew to cover the story. And that's, I think this reinforces, this crisis, both the value of traditional journalism and this new kind of journalism and media as well.
Right, and in terms of keeping the story going, I mean, one of the big criticisms of traditional media is that, yes, often correspondents and anchors, they parachute in, they stay for a few days, and then they leave, and then you hear about the first anniversary, the 5th anniversary, and the 10th anniversary of this story. But in between, you hear nothing, unless, of course, it's on, you know, on programs like ours, where we try to consistently report international news issues. I mean, this story isn't going to be one that's going to sort of disappear as soon as you kind of like click your fingers. Is there something that the social networking community is sort of conscious of, aware of, and is discussing this issue?
I think that they can have a tremendous impact in the way that the story continues to evolve in the weeks and months and years ahead, and that is by keeping the attention on it. And you can't do it, every single message cannot be about this, but bringing notice of important milestones, or even when things are not working, so that you can say, hey, we need to rally around and we need to do X to get attention to this problem. That's what you can do now. You don't have to wait for the budgets of a big media company to decide this is worth doing or not. You can do that kind of on your own, and that we've seen has made a big difference.
And you mentioned some of the drawbacks, obviously. Are there others that concern you?
Well, I think an over-reliance on this kind of medium. As I said, it is very important to have people on the ground who are giving you reliable, accurate information, not just folks who are making stuff up or passing along misguided information or completely wrong information. I think that's going to be a big thing. And also, one of the things that social media does is you can now see how many people are directly participating in your network in something, and that can be good and bad. You think you have 5,000 people who are your friends on Facebook. How many of them are actually giving money? How many of them are actually doing something that can be good and bad for your relationship with those people?
All right, Professor Srinivasan, thank you very much for joining us.